Yo, yo, yo. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? T is Monday again, man.
Bruh, already. Spin back around.
Yo, those 6 days in between Monday and Monday go by so quickly sometimes. I can't even begin to tell y'all how impactful, how incredible, and how blessed I am and humbled that you guys tune in every Monday to get motivated by myself, Amir A. Rock Sealy, and the one and only, the man with only one name, the great comedian known as Talent.
I
But
was going to say Houdini.
I'm just gonna say, look, you know you great. I told y'all when you got one name that everybody knows you by, Talent, Madonna, Michael, depending on which Michael you want to pick, Jackson, Tyson, you know how that goes. But this man is, put in the work. He's more than done his fair share of making stars of even his friends and the people who he associates and affiliates himself with, which is another reason why you endear yourself to this man. You respect his greatness, you respect what he does and how he goes about things. The one and only Talent, the man that helps us both do the show week in and week out. How was the weekend, brother? How was your weekend, King?
Man, let me tell you. Stupendous. Um, I knew it was a good weekend because every day you not only have to remind yourself what day of the week it is, but you have to remind yourself what the hell did I do yesterday. That's when you had a great time, bro. It's like, what was I? Because I was just sitting on the couch maybe an hour ago, and damn, I'm a little fatigued. That must have been running this weekend, and I had to really go recap. Like, what you? I said, oh yeah, you was running. But Friday, you were with Friday. We had a great time up at the after work experience.
Yes, sir.
Friday Night Live up at the Coliseum. The new date for that, people, if you missed it or if you enjoyed it coming back, the 16th of September, Friday, will be the Afterwork Friday live. Everything live DJ, live band, live people, live comedians, live after, everything live. Then Saturday and Sunday, I was at Aruga. Saturday, we did the straight up comedy show, one show. We had a really nice crowd come out, right? And then shout out to Kenny Williams, blew the roof off the building. Like it was Aldo went right to the ceiling, and I thought that you can't top it. And Kenny moved the ceiling. So they closed that joint out. It was a bang. We did a Comic View reunion show, and then the next day we had the brunch with the band. I just feel really. This is how you know people are good. When you're in their establishment, you get a really good feeling. Like I just get a really good feeling in the roots.
Yes.
Many times as we've been there, and just dealing with them, and it's very seldom you find people like this in the business where you can be doing business, but you're also comfortable. Does
Yes.
that make sense? You know what I mean? Because sometimes business could be cut and dry, and it could be just that business. And in the business world, they say business is shrewd, so it could be that. So when you're in those moments where in life where you do business with people, you actually feel good around it, and the energy's cool. That's a plus like a mug, man. That's a plus like a mug. So we did the brunch show. That was good. Got my ass on that turnpike. Got home by 6 o'clock. I was in some slippers.
Nice.
Just waiting to go catch some football. The local watering hole where we got people twisted that Friday. So it was a great weekend, man. It was. How about yours? Now
Oh
you
my
you
goodness.
was in Harlem?
Oh my goodness. Let's talk about it. So, like you said, Friday, first off, like you said, the Coliseum, please, guys, listen. Y'all hear me when I say this. You gotta make it to the Coliseum, y'all. The band is always on point. The DJ is always on point. It's a talent event. Y'all know I don't have to say anything
That's
else
no
about
more.
it. Our boy Doug B, promoter, super salute to him. And then if you haven't seen Sean Harvey lately and watch this man work a room and do what he does, you're missing out. Sean Harvey absolutely hosts the
Has
stage
arrived.
and destroys it every time. So that was Friday. Move to Saturday. Some real cool cats I know who I've been rocking with for years. Every third Saturday of the month, they do a brunch at Row House on 117th and 8th. So they had the Saturday brunch this Saturday. Decided I'd pull up, see who was in the building. Just an incredible experience because you got Row House right on the corner, 117th and 8th. You go one more block over, you got Melba's on 118th and 8th. And if you stop on 116th on the corner, you got Boulevard, which is owned by a cat that I know, Chef Los. So you got 3 Black-owned establishments, within a 3-block radius. They lock, and because it was Harlem Week, they got the blocks locked off. So you not only have people partying inside, but cabanas outside. There's cigars, it's drinking. It's just a smorgasbord of some of the most incredible energy and people you want to see. Just an incredible experience. But that's not where it took a turn for the better. So we finishing up at Row House, and there's a spot on Lenox Ave and 120th called Barrawine, Barawine. Nice little spot on the corner on the uptown side. Incredible little spot, sexy. Food is incredible, but it's just a dope little, if you're out on a Saturday night in the city, you want to go someplace where you can slide in, get your karaoke on, not like karaoke like you got a machine, just the way the DJ is going to be playing, you're going to sing along just right. Because. And it has that energy of a mixed crowd, so it's a little bit of everything in there and everybody, and people are just having a good time. Fab Five Freddy was sitting in the back on some cool out. Just people, you looking around like, oh, snap, all right, there's folks in here. So that was killer. But that, again, wasn't even the highlight. Diagonally across the street, there's a brownstone. They had and it wasn't an impromptu. They've done, I think, 2 other concerts. I didn't get the name of the band, but I'm going to get the name of the band for you, T. Okay. But they had a band that was out on the street in front of this brownstone. They did nothing but 90s music. When I say they had 100 and Lenox Avenue, that was like one of the dopest block parties I've been to in God knows how long. And they didn't stop, traffic, anything. People allowed traffic to flow. But everybody was just outside singing along. It feels good. The energy, it was people flowing. Everybody's talking to each other. Everybody's celebrating with each other. Incredible Saturday night. I got out of there like 11, boogied on home because I was like, damn, tomorrow is Harlem Week. Now, Harlem Week rocked both days, by the way. It rocked Saturday, too. I just forgot about it. I heard Freddie Jackson touch the stage and a couple of other people. So Saturday, I said, you know what, I'm going to go back out there. 135th, in case y'all have never been to Harlem Week, for those people who are not familiar with New York and Harlem Week, they block off from 5th Avenue on 135th Street all the way to 8th Avenue on 135th Street. And they got nothing but vendors out there. You're selling everything from T-shirts to cupcakes to pies to bracelets to jewelry to candles, everything you could think of. And when we want to talk about all the dope Black-owned Muslim joints that are selling fish, chicken, fries, yams, you name it. So yesterday, pull up, and I came in on the 5th Avenue side because I was really going out there. I heard they was going to have Drew Hill, Dougie Fresh, and Slick Rick. So I said, all right. I didn't know which side they were going to be on, but I'll pull up on the 5th Avenue side. Right. I pull up, I'm walking into the space, T. I bump into Tina, your people, Tina and her guy. They standing right there. So I'm trying to make a beeline to go say what's up to them. Your fellow alumni from the Vernon sees me, Jeff Red. He said, Amir. I look, I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Family's in the building. Go over, we chopping it up. Say hello to his wife, say hello to his son. Salutes is going on. Turns out your other boy, Jeff Fox Band,
I seen that
getting up on stage. So he gets up, starts rocking, says, I got to bring out my other man. He only wanted to do this with one other person, brings up Jeff Red. They proceed to destroy the stage. Just the two of them was just destruction. Incredible. Those two entities together. Rocked out to that. Then I make my way down the other end. In the crowd, the one thing about going to this festival too is you get the opportunity, obviously, to bump into everybody. New York is big and small at the same time. And when we have our festivals, and especially something like Harlem Week, you have the opportunity to bump into everybody. So bumped into Doug B out there, bumped into Onika out there. Several other people were just in the crowd. Everybody's moving and shaking and just, enjoying the
I
festival.
just spoke to her too. That's funny you
And
say
it was,
that. I just booked on something.
and it was Harlem at its finest. But I promise you, if you have never had the opportunity to go out and enjoy Harlem Week, please do yourself a favor and get out there, because it is one of the most incredible experiences, and especially from this standpoint. For those of us who are from our community, and how much we embrace our Blackness, how much we embrace what we bring to the world, it is a plethora of some of the most incredible looking brothers and sisters from every walk of life that you can imagine. So you got some of the elders who have been a part of Harlem since its inception, on down to the kids. And when I tell you to see that, the hairstyles, the dress, just everything,
Ain't
if
nothing
that
like
doesn't make
Harlem,
you
bro.
feel
Yeah.
good, if it doesn't give you some sense of pride, if it doesn't fill you up in some way, then I don't know what to tell you. And then we close the night, because I went down, like I said, the other end, and your man Dougie Fresh got out there and he brought the Treacherous Three. He brought out Slick Rick, and they just absolutely closed the night on a high. So I just had a phenomenal weekend just with all of that energy and all of that, pouring
Hey,
in.
real quick, since you brought up my man Dougie Fresh, before we
Yes,
dive
sir.
into this motivational talk, today, people, we're going to be touching on the pandemic, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the indifferent. It hit everybody different. Everybody got a story, so we're gonna just look back, take a little look back, and put it in a motivational sense. You brought up Doug, so give me your top 3 live performers in music.
Wow.
Dougie is up there for me.
Okay.
Dougie's incredible on stage. Dougie and Wyclef are probably like, and then I mean, not as that is in any order, but I just think they like at the top. And of course, my top 3 would be them 2 and DMX.
Ooh, nice,
Give me your
nice. Okay,
top 3 performers.
so to add, or like you said, to get on my list, first of all, is the Blastmaster. KRS-One, boy, that man get out there and he go ham, ham, ham. You be like, wow.
Yeah, I seen that.
So I say KRS-One. Number 2, moving into the number 2 slot, only because I've recently experienced it. I had been around him, but I never saw him live. I, had the opportunity to just be in and around him. Busta Rhymes.
He's a problem.
Hit you with the no delaying. So what you're saying, yo,
Yeah, he's a
man,
problem.
listen, he is incredible.
Yeah.
Fast, slow, doesn't make a difference. He just comes
Busta's a
up and
problem.
brings that energy, and it's just it's something to behold. Now, I had the opportunity to see this a couple of years ago. This is a couple of years back, but I had the opportunity to see Public Enemy. And man, listen, forget the don't believe the hype. It was just to see the SW1s, and
Oh, yeah,
they
that's just amazing.
they bring a whole true show, and then they bring the consciousness. You leave there feeling fulled up, righteous, militarized, like it's like so many things. You leave a show with them, you be like, wait a minute, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm giving up cigarettes. I'm gonna stop drinking or start going to the mosque. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in my life. But those 3 I've seen live and in person, and I was just blown away every time by those incredible performances.
That's a great 3. Can't even argue with it. Not even arguing with it. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Motivation Monday. I know we are having a good time reminiscing. It was a great weekend, so we don't mind taking time out to give props where props is due. I hit Amir up and I said, Amir, what I want to touch on, it's sort of like, how at the end of every year they do that year in review thing. But
Yes.
it's been several years with this pandemic. People don't even realize going on 3 years.
Yeah. Yes.
People don't even realize. So you're in the 3rd year now. You're working on completing the 3rd year. We literally was September, October, November, December, half a year. Boom, you done turned the corner. So this is what I've noticed after speaking to a lot of people, being around a lot of people, just moving and shaking in general. We've been having some one thing I'm grateful for is I can say this for the last couple of years. I found myself having a lot more deeper conversations about shit, life. Um, so a lot of things I think people were shy to talk about or wouldn't talk about or brushed over or act like whatever, because the pandemic changed the scope of time itself. People are in a different time, place in their brain and their heart. And I find myself in deeper conversations with people. And I'm not talking about people who you're tight with. I'm talking in general, like being out, having a drink. Hey, how you doing? Hey, nothing. How you doing? I just got to work. You too? Yeah. And going to some shit. Next thing you know, you guys are bouncing off deep shit with each other. Just bumped into each other at the park. So I find that the pandemic has done a lot of change in our surroundings as well as ourselves. What do you think? Because some people change, it changed good in their life. Like, perfect example is everything seems to have an employee shortage right now, right? This is what made me think about doing this topic today. Everything, airlines, teachers, there's a shortage of employees. And the reason being is because when everybody stopped working or left their jobs, it freed up a lot of creative space that a lot of people say, you know what? Let me do this thing I always wanted to do. We on social media. We see it every day, all day on social media. Everybody and their mother is a talk show host. Or, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, obviously, inside these people, this is something they wanted to do. And it took for something to shut things down or stop things or slow them down or change your whole life up for you to jump out there and go, you know what? Let me do that thing I wanted to do. And that could be from, like we just said, podcasts, going on your live every day, being a talk show host. Shit, you know how many people started businesses and they never would have did it had they not been in a predicament to have to do something. And now they're entrepreneurs and businessmen and women all over. So that's the good part. The bad part, I think we all obviously lived through that. We lost a lot of people.
Yes.
We lost a ton of people. And some people lost. Again, I just said the positive spin on the people who left work. What about the people who didn't want to leave work but got kicked out of work? That had to collect unemployment, that now is looking for a job or can't get back in the same field. Or so that's what I mean by it's a double-edged sword. Did it do good for you? Did it do bad for you? Is it indifferent? You may be an essential worker, so you just had to work hard, but show up. But other than that, it didn't stop no show. To me, a little bit all of it.
Yeah.
To me, a flame was lit under my ass in certain areas that it needed to be lit. You know what I mean? And of course, I always have this thing about thank God I'm as good as I am at what I do, because the very few of us that kept working like that, we were hit with that 3-month lockdown. But as soon as you could go out and they slowly opened things up, they were calling the top of the crop. They would call people because you got to realize you're trying to work and get on your feet, but so is the club.
Yeah. Yeah. No question. I think, to your exact point, you're right. This particular situation, I think, was eye-opening again, like you said, in so many ways. Beyond, obviously, like you said, the obvious, which is, people being able to have resources or being able to put themselves in a position so that they can take care of themselves and their families. I think it also put a lot of people on notice as far as their health was concerned. A good portion of us were on autopilot, in generally speaking, not that you did and didn't, take time to really understand what your journey was about or what you were going through. But I think we were on autopilot in this regard. And this goes for everything from, like you said, work to relationships to everything. We had gotten so used to being on that hamster wheel that the hamster wheel became all that we knew. So those of us who might have been in relationships, you and your significant other were like passing ships in the night. Same for your children. A lot of people found out that they did and didn't like their significant others and their kids. True story. Like,
Right,
I don't
right.
really like my damn kids. I don't like you. I know we've been here and doing, this, that, and the third, but I really found out I don't like you. And I think that that was eye-opening for so many because, to your exact point, a lot of people were living not happy. They were living just to be living in a real sense. And the pandemic put everybody in a space where you hopefully had to do your checklist, whatever that might have been for you. What's my health really looking like? Is this relationship that I'm in, is it growing? Is it pouring into me? Is it doing everything I need to do to help me be fulfilled, help them be fulfilled? And if not, let's see if we can work on that. Finding
Right.
out again who your children are, because a good portion of us, the generational shift is here. Whether we want to be honest with ourselves, and you start, like you said, having these in-depth conversations with your children, your nieces and nephews, you find out they have a whole different perspective on how they see the world and how they see life, different from where we were. We came and probably are one of the last few generations of the knowing that it's about working hard and then reaping the results of putting forth the energy, the effort, and doing the work.
Right.
This new generation isn't necessarily wired that way. And there's no disrespect to them, but they don't necessarily see it that way. They see it's in some cases, well, my mother and father put in the work, so why do I need to go do that? they were here first. They did all the legwork, this, that, the third. I'm supposed to be reaping the benefits of their hard work and some of the stuff that they've done. So I think that it's challenged us all to, again, take a really good hard look and become vested not only in ourselves but vested in the people and the things in and around us. Because
Right.
if you don't find yourself in a circle, whatever your circle may look like, it could be just you and one other person, it could be you and a few people, it could be you and 1,000 people. If in theory you truly are not pouring into each other, you truly are not trying to help each other be your absolute best, or helping each other level up, as some say, or get beyond leveling up, then what are you doing? Because the pandemic showed us for sure these jobs can shut down and they'll be all right. You might not be all right, but they're going to be all right. So what are you going to do to put yourself in a position to hopefully not allow something, someone, or whatever to hold that over your head? To the point that Tyler made about losing folks, and we all lost, a number of people in one way, shape, or form. That's why I said the health aspect, because hopefully it woke some of us up to, I got to eat better. I got to start drinking water. I might have to start adding vegetables to my regimen. Whatever it was, start really taking vitamins. A lot of people, started learning about things like sea moss and burdock root and, some of these other roots and things that are natural but are really good for the body that we weren't as privy to or didn't really understand their importance. So I'm with you. I'm just happy that I can see the pockets and I can see the people who have truly turned that light on for
Right.
themselves. So to all my entrepreneurs out there, super happy for you. Salute. Let's support each other. I don't care what it is. Talk about it, be about it, post it, tell people about it, share it. I will say this. Chances are maybe some of your immediate team, unfortunately, will not support. Not because they're not trying to support, not because they hate you, not because they don't think that what you're doing is dope. We just have a unfortunate, weird mentality when it comes to us in general as a people, that we don't see that when we pour into each other, the blessings come regardless. And I know a lot of people can't see and understand that because they're like, well, I don't see what I'm getting out of it. The fact that you've helped your friend build something, become greater, put a business that now people are respecting and aspiring to be like or to want to be a part of, opens the light and shines the light on you and tells the universe, God, whatever your higher power, higher being is, you're helpful. You're doing your part to help somebody else grow. So let me see what I could do to help you grow. But a lot
Now,
of us don't
no,
subscribe to that.
a lot of us lack that, or lack thereof. But I'm gonna give you another a take on it, right? So somebody said to me, and I couldn't even argue at this point because it has some sort of validity to it. Talking about, okay, even though in certain angles of looking at the pandemic, looking at the virus, we lost a lot of people. Those are the obvious negatives. But in the overall grand scheme of it, in the big picture, this was a good thing to happen. Now, I'm not talking about what we talked about in segment one, where I'm saying, just, you know, uh, uproot you to do something you wanted to do, but more of a overall picture. Like he gave the argument of all the stars aligning. Right now, it's a bunch of negative shit, but it's getting progress and work done and changing the dynamics of the climate we live in. For example, a lot of people forget these 2.5, 3 years. There's a lot of racial shit going on. We were losing people at a rapid rate to the streets and to the police brutality and over policing in areas. People forget that, George Floyd happened in the thick of this. So those things caused a generation or two to wake up, first of all, and go out there and demand what they wanted to demand and walk on Washington and yank down statues of old racist slave owners and stuff like that, and create a climate of awareness. Okay, we're woke. We're not doing that no more. That's disrespectful. The word of the last 3 years, I swear to God, was accountability.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sir.
Accountability. So now people are hanging their hat on accountability and want everybody to be held accountable when they feel like they're doing something, stepping out of pocket. You're not just going to walk around here and do that. No, you did that. We're going to put it out. We're going to make it go viral. We're going to cancel you, or whatever the case may be. Now, hold yourself accountable. We called you out. We showed you out. Hold yourself accountable. How do you feel about that? Do you even have remorse? Would you take that back? Whatever the case may be. So in the argument, the guy was like, that's a perfect storm. All of these bad things going on at the same time, this big virus and politics mixing with the civil stuff and everything made a perfect storm to uproot, shift everything around and make it move different. You shine the high beam on, not all cops are bad, we know that, but you shine the high beam on police brutality.
Yes.
And how these guys were excessive when they thought no one was watching or they could get away with it. So these are things that come from the perfect storm. Like, you ever see the worst storm in the world, and as soon as it finish over with your area, it's mad rainbow.
Super rainbow.
You understand what I'm saying? So that makes sense to me. That's why I say he got a lot of validity in there. I couldn't even argue, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not God, but that sounds like if I was a god talking to other gods, that sounds like some shit we'd be saying to each other. You know what I mean? So that's a good case and a good angle to look at. Now, going back to what you said that stuck out to me was, you're right. A lot of us learned a lot about our health. Like you said, maybe I need to, I got this, I got this, I got this. Okay, you've been having it for a while. You haven't gotten diagnosed for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't go. Maybe you don't want to know, whatever the case may be. I know Black people that will thug it out through some pain and some issues until goddamn they pass out and got to be wheeled in. And they go, oh, you got such and such. But you knew you've been feeling like this for a while. So that's a phrase we learned when Obama got in office, pre-existing conditions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Remember, he made that point about, Barack made this great point of, because we're always, when we say healthcare, we're always just looking at, the immediate. When I got to go. He's like, no, if you got healthcare, and you start getting regular checks and doing the right thing from way back here, you won't have this shit at 50.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And that's why I said, healthcare to me was numero uno on the list because, again, to the point that you made about either a perfect storm or a messed up storm, we lost a lot of people, especially in the beginning of this whole situation, because, again, like I said, we were on a hamster wheel. There were a number of us who had jobs that required we work odd hours. So you weren't eating properly. You know it. I know it. They know it. It is what it is. I'm not knocking anybody. You were doing the best you could under the circumstances, meaning if you had wild hours where you work, the night shift, what good restaurants are you going to at 3 a.m? I'll wait. You understand what I'm saying? So you at the bodegas, you at the Dunkin' Donuts, if, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, open that early. You know that you can't survive on that kind of diet and stuff.
Absolutely.
But you were doing it because that's the space that you were in, and that's all you understood at that time. And this is why, to a point that you made that I think is great about, like you said, Motivational Monday, and this one in particular, is get out here and do yourselves a favor. Have some of these conversations, not only, like you said, with people within your circle, people outside of your circle, because what happens is you start to broaden your perspective on things that you may not have even thought about. But now, because this person brought it to you, it gives you the opportunity to go, wow, I didn't even think about it from that perspective, or even challenge myself to, kind of look at it or think about it. So I think that we have to do a better job of understanding that there's stuff to be learned in everything. Yes, sometimes it's a painful lesson. Sometimes it's a joyous lesson, but it's a lesson nonetheless. And I
Right.
think that, to your point, that's what people have to be mindful of, or should be mindful of, is regardless of whether it's something that makes you smile or something that makes you cry, the moment is, or that situation is trying to show you something, or at least give you an idea about something, or put you in the mind frame and the mindset to start analyzing something. We have to get back. During this pandemic, I've gained so many, different names. I remember I was a critical thinker for a minute, because I had brought that up, maybe 6 months to a year ago. I was saying we don't critically think anymore. And that's not everybody, obviously, but there are a number of us who don't critically think. We kind of go along with whatever the status quo is saying, or we go along to get along. And I get and I understand all sides of it. All I'm saying is everything isn't always for everybody, meaning you can't take Talent's train of thought, and if that's working for him, say that that's going to work for you. Talent is
Right.
on a different journey than you're on. So you got to see what tenets or what things from Talent's journey you could take, and then hopefully make yours and utilize it to help you on your journey. But don't just take a Rob and steal his whole style and be like, yeah, I'm good. No, you're not, because God didn't. He didn't put your name on that list. He was nah.
Oh,
That's not.
how you gonna drop a jewel before the jewel? It's that time, 32 hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. You already know I'm sitting here with my partner in crime, the jewel dropper. It's the jewel of the day with Amir. Silly. Let's go.
Hey, everybody, man. Listen, it's time for the jewel of the day. This one is kind of funny. When I was thinking about what the topic was today, and how I could tie this together and make it all relate, oddly enough, I had a vibe of the day that came past me. I forwarded to a few of you, so some of you may have already seen this or heard it, but for those of you who haven't, I'm going to read this because I think it is pertinent to exactly what we're talking about today. And basically, the vibe of the day says, forgive who did not know how to love you. They taught you self-love. Forgive who did not know how to treat you as you deserve. They showed you self-care. Forgive who did not believe in your dreams. They pushed you to go forward and self-motivate. Forgive who did not know how to support you. They help you to have self-empower. It says, forgive and make room in your soul to become the best version of yourself. I use that as the jewel of the day because, to Talent's point about our topic for the day and what we're talking about, especially with the pandemic and what it has and how it has molded and shaped each and every one of us in different ways. Some of us are going to hopefully come out of this much stronger. We're going to come out of this tougher. We're going to come out of this more polished. Some of us are going to come out of this exactly the same. And I want you to understand that if you come out of this exactly the same, there's no shame in that. There's no what you call it. You may or may not be ready to take that next step. And that is something that you have to decide. But I hope those words and what I just shared with you, for most of you, hits home and resonates with you in this regard. You look yourself in the mirror every day. You see who looks back at you from that mirror. And you know how powerful that person is and how powerful they may or may not be. But it's your job to figure out what new things to twist and turn and what things to add and subtract to make you the most incredible thing that walks this earth each and every day. And I promise you, if you take some of what was said in that segment and those words that I just read to you, you apply them to yourself, man, you're gonna be so unstoppable to be scary. Everybody be trying to figure out what happened to you and who you are. But better than that, they be trying to emulate you and do what you do or be like you. Jewel of the day.
Nice.
So
Nice, brother. Nice. I'm still over here jamming. You gave you a nice beat and everything.
yeah,
Welcome back, everybody. That's the Jewel of the Day. Amir Silly, A-Rock in the building. We're talking about the pandemic. We're talking about after most, it ain't always gone, but things have cleared up to the point where we're trying to get back to everyday living. People are going back into the office. Kids are back at school. Programs are reopening. Funding is being released. People are being taken off of their unemployment. Now your time's up. Some things have expired. Some things remain in place and got extended. Some things still have, very few still got mandate stuff out there.
mm-hmm.
What is the title of the show? Jesus Christ. I don't understand people sometimes. Anyway, so here's the thing. I told you when we came on, everybody has a story. You know what I mean? Everybody got a story. It affected all of us. This is one of those things that we all live. It's the elephant in the room. And normally we don't do this, but even our super producer, Prophet Pete, because I remember talking to him time and time again, and he had so much going on, pandemic, and I'm moving this way, and I'm moving over here, and I'm married, I'm not married, I'm smacked the bitch in the face, a bunch of shit. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome our super producer, Prophet Pete.
Yo,
what up, Pete?
Yes, sir.
Yo, what up?
What's going on, B?
I can tell you, I'm honored just to be able to work with you guys. Like, no BS. Like, when Motivation Monday came to the station, it was in the mix of the pandemic in the beginning. Right? So that's what it was. And then, as far as talent, I grew up watching him. So just to be able to like really identify or just say, yo, I know who talent is. Like, it was real different for me.
Right.
The pandemic really took it to that next level for me. And although it wasn't a thing where we were supposed to be looking for those type of things, I'm like, oh shit. Like, I remember the first time I was at the Apollo, and it was what was it? Amateur night at the Apollo, Backstreet Boys, right? That's what I saw at the Apollo. But I remember, just seeing talent doing what he does and just watching him on Def Comedy Jam and all that stuff. And then me being able to meet you, A-Rock Silly, and then just knowing your story. I'm like, yo, I'm honored. I'm humbled all day when it comes to me meeting talent and me meeting you. And I didn't even know what that was, because I was a kid that was born in Spanish Harlem, and that's all I know. And when the pandemic hit, I can tell you, I've never looked outside of a window and never saw a car.
Yeah.
It was crazy for me. I was like, oh, this is real.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to do with myself. I had studios in different places, and I'm like, the world just got shut down.
But did you get forced into? Did your train of thought change?
It changed a lot. It changed so much because I enjoy being around people, right? And then it was when the pandemic hit, there was no being around people. It's like, yo, if you decided to be around people, you might not be here 3 days later.
True.
You want a respirator and everything else. So it scared me. And then I already have a pre-existing condition where I have multiple sclerosis. So my immune system is already crazy. But then I take medication to really suppress my immune system. So I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now.
Wow.
But I love this so much. Like I love being around people so much. So for me, it is definitely scary. But I always did. I'm like, okay, I'm okay today. So you know what? I didn't die the day after, so I guess it was all right. But
What was you gonna say, Amir?
I was gonna say, you know, as I'm listening to your story. So, you know, like you said, you had several studios. You know, you had, you know, obviously some gifts that I'm assuming that you hadn't necessarily shared with the entire free world. Maybe you know, your immediate family and you know, people close to you knew. When did you decide to take those gifts and then say, you know what, I'm gonna share them in a different way, so now other people can, you know, understand or see a different version of me, or you know, understand there's more to me, you know?
it's crazy. It's crazy. Before I even got into media, I was a automotive instructor. I taught people how to fix cars and do stuff. I just loved it. And just knowing that I could touch so many people's lives with my voice and the way I could understand different people because everybody learns different. And I wasn't able to do that anymore. So radio was the other way that I was able to do it. And it was just beautiful to me.
That's crazy, man. I mean, I think everybody. That's why I said it touched everybody. This is one of those things. You know what it reminds me of? It's like when I'm hosting a comedy show and something happens in that room while the show's going on and I'm hosting. If I find some funny in it and I could talk about it, it's going to be the funniest thing and the loudest laugh because it's the most relatable at the time. We're all in the same room when it happens. So relatability probabilities through the roof. That's what the pandemic is for me. Like, you know, we're all like you just say pandemic or COVID or whatever. All these phrases I was just laughing at. All these phrases we learned that we didn't know what the fuck they was. You know what I'm saying? Shit like shelter in place and fucking like I said, what the fuck is that? Pre-existing conditions. I'm like, I don't have no conditions. No, you have pre-existing. You got asthma? Yeah, bitch, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Like all these phrases we didn't know all the way up until we all see the elephant in the room, and everybody got a story. So it changed everybody. Now, for me, a few things change. I'm one of those dudes that I'm not gonna say unfortunately because it's a blessing to have as much things on your plate as I've been provided for the last 31 years. When you have a lot on your plate, that I got a team of, I think we're down to about 15, 16 people in the whole team. 15, 16 people in the whole team that everybody does something. Everybody does something for this whole nucleus of a thing we call a production, right? But still there's these things that need your personal attention. Like you can do it. I can't do it for you. You got to do it, right? So it's like voting. You got to show up. I can't say, yo, Amir, go down there and vote for me, man. Put in for Biden real quick. You can't do it. You got to show up. So there's things in my life, in my comedy life, that I have to do. And this is all on top of your regular life. You got kids, you got family, you know, you got personal shit to do. You got to wash your ass, you got to wash clothes, you got to travel. But then there's these things that you got to do. So I'm a type of person, when they all click on all cylinders, I got to divvy out myself. I got to divide myself and divvy it out so things may move at a certain speed so that they can equally get done, right? Pandemic comes, pandemic shut down 80, 90% of all that shit that you was worried about. And then you will only allow or possibly could do 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So hence the next level of my merchandise and my shirts and how creative the designs. And I think I'm on like the 12, 13 logo. When the pandemic hit, I probably had 3. You know, I think I done multiplied that by 4 or 5 fold, which is a lot. Says a lot because this is happening in real time every other month. You know, I just put an order in another hat order. Like these hats I got, I don't have. I'm out of red. You know what I mean? I'm out of black. So I said, you know what? Put an order in for a few hundred hats and get them in. But those things like that. Now when I look at my shop, like I had to create a whole real merchandise warehouse within my house. So that was something that the foot wasn't the floor, the pedal wasn't to the metal on the floor. You know what I mean? So when the pandemic hit, because you take all those other things out of your way, and I'm sure everybody else got that in their life, where if you wasn't an essential worker and you're home, you had a lot of shit you can get done as long as it's home shit. Case in point, y'all made fucking Amazon a quadrillionaire.
Yeah.
Case in point, you people made, and I say you people because I haven't ordered one thing from Amazon, believe it or not.
Me neither.
I only know what the truck looked like because my block. I don't even know what the fuck it looked like, yo. Like, everybody, it's not a day go by, Amazon truck don't come around. Not once, but twice. Not a day goes by since the pandemic. You guys have made that corporation a gazillionaire. Fuck billions. Fuck billions. These motherfuckers are passing Netflix. So they making that kind of money. That means that changed something in so many people's lives, like shopping. Oh, I can't go to the mall. I can't go to the store. I can't get Amazon. I found it on Amazon. I got it on Amazon, blah, blah, blah. And those packages to this day never stop going. So it changed something in everybody. And you Amazon crackheads out there, I'm not bashing y'all. I'm just, you Amazon crackhead?
Yo, I can tell you for real. I can tell you for real. Amazon, if you was to sit there and look at your Amazon account, but I know you guys don't really do it like that. They give you a spreadsheet of how much you spent throughout the year.
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
It's a whole spreadsheet. And I was like, I spent maybe $15,000 to $20,000 last year on Amazon.
Look at that. And here's the thing. I like Talent said, I'm not knocking any of y'all, because to the other side of that, like you said, a lot of you have also become entrepreneurs. But with that having been said, like you said, I want y'all to think about it. And this is why I said what I said earlier about supporting your friends, supporting the people who are in and around you. Why wouldn't you? Jeff Bezos, he's not coming to your dinner party. He's not going to ask who made the potato salad. He didn't bring some chicken by. Nothing.
Y'all all that nigga did, Amir, Jeff Bezos, and other than they just go in your backyard and they're gonna line that spaceship up. If you want to take a quick shoot up.
They not doing any of that. But y'all have given this dude, like Talent said, you have made this guy's money so incredibly long that he's on the boards of things that he shouldn't even be on the board of. He's on, like, Google him and you'll see the stuff that he's capable of doing now. And it's, again, for a 3-year time span. Now, I only say that because imagine, again, how much greater and far along we could all be if we supported each other, we poured into each other, and we did those same things for one another. Because y'all made Jeff Bezos incredibly rich. Like I said, the rest of us, look, them to another point Talent made, the stimulus checks got cut off. How many of y'all went into a deep depression? And we don't even want to talk about those of y'all who are in witness protection because of the PPP
don't bring up all those open cases. Don't do it.
But you really think about it, right? Like no BS, right? Jeff Bezos is where he is because and this is my personal opinion. This has nothing to do with the show Motivational Monday. This has nothing to do with the opinion of the host and anything. That 2-day guaranteed delivery changes a lot. It does. It's like I can get it in 2 days. Like, and I can get it for free. I pay the Amazon Prime price just to make sure I get it in 2 days. And that's just what it is. What it is, though. Like, we are impatient, no lie. Like, for real.
But you know what? To your point, Prophet, that's another microcosm of this pandemic. We've become very impatient because of the pandemic and because of so many things that have happened that have caused people to be on edge. And people are on edge again for a number of reasons. I'm not going to pick out, excuse me, anything in particular, but I think that a number of us are on edge because of all of the, the various things that have happened to this point. And that includes losing folks. That includes going through your own, health challenges, if you've had any health challenges during this time, as well as losing jobs or, like I said, PPP loans, the stimulus, situations, all of these and the various things. Because now, if y'all haven't been watching, you see they're trying to get those PPP loans back, or, at least going after the people who had said that they were going to take those loans and do something positive with them, and they didn't. They went and got a Bentley. They went and tricked out at, the various clubs. The bottle service was on fleet, but, you didn't do anything that was business-like or even business-minded. You just tricked out. So while you let Cinnamon down at the spot, get her life together, right now yours is in shambles. We gotta backtrack a little bit here.
Yeah, now let's look at that. Let's go. I'm gonna go occupation. Everybody gonna go round table. Occupation after occupation of motherfuckers that felt it. You think that felt it the most? I'm gonna start off. Nobody can use like, the entertainment. That's obvious. The Nicki Minaj's and all they, that's obvious. But strippers.
It got rough. It got rough. A lot of cats were showing up with change. Like that was tough. It was tough.
When they closed the club, you couldn't even go in it. That's one of the things.
But that's where OnlyFans popped off to the point where
for a hot second, though. For a hot second, because that shifted quickly too. That was like, because chicks started going through that bank account and was like, what's this charge? I'm not familiar with this. And the dudes had to come clean. So that didn't work out so great either. But go ahead, Tyler. Go on. Next one.
All right. So I'm going to tell you right now, it's all those things that you couldn't go do. Barbershops took a hit. Barbers, if I'm a barber, that was a wake-up call for me to really, now my barber's already here. He's already mentally here. Stack my chips, so to speak, and get my ducks in a row and not just live Tuesday to Tuesday. Because when this hit, most barbers I know in the hood, they was asked out, bro. They might have had enough money to pay, their way a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. And here's the problem I had mostly with the pandemic, is the government should have came to all the property owners. Like if you own buildings and stores and all that stuff, everything that people operate out of, you're supposed to extend them the courtesy of not owning things, because ain't nothing moving and shaking. So if you did that, the landlord and owner would in turn to the tenants and say, don't worry about it until further notice too. So if each one did that, each one teach one down the line like that, it would have been a less burden on a lot of us. Problem is, there was no forgiveness here. So there was no forgiveness here. So there was zero forgiveness here. You understand what I'm saying? So anything that people had to gather, look, church, church, if, they couldn't get them in there. And then you'd be surprised. Most of the old school churches, they have all this new technology set up.
Yeah.
So they had to get, a lot of them I was a flame under their ass. Get us hooked up. We got to get online. We got to get on the web. They so old, it was like the World Wide Web. We got to get on the World Wide Web. Get these tidings and then boom, they get the tidings in, and then they in Brooklyn, and then they bishop, and then they get robbed for $1 million.
Yeah, it was serious. You're absolutely right. And the funny thing is, the infrastructure also on a lot of this wasn't good. We found out during this pandemic because, to your point, we had to depend more on technology, probably more so than in any other time in the history of this country. And because we have elders in our family or, within our circles, you found out Mom, Nana and them, shoot, I didn't know how to work a lot of this in the beginning. So I know good and well Nana didn't know how to work it. So, the pictures was coming in all, crazy and whatnot. They fumbling with the phone. Well, I don't know. Am I talking to them? What is going on? I don't know what I'm doing. So we had a lot of that. So I agree with you, T. It was a heck of a learning curve in there for a lot of us for a minute there.
Yeah, I mean, so if you was first of all, Prophet Pete, appreciate you joining in on this and hanging with us, man. Yeah, it was a lot of that. So anything. So here's the thing about comics. I was super happy. I'm always comfortable in my own space, but I was super happy to be in the specific space I was in because you're not at the bottom, but you're not at the arena level where you would have been unemployed for 2 years. You know what I mean? If I could only go do those kind of venues, and they were telling us that we can't do those numbers, super spreaders and blah blah blah, then you're unemployed basically. You know what I'm saying? It was so funny for me when it got tight and shut down and everything. I remember my daughter said something to me about something that cost something, and I said I would, babe, but I'm unemployed right now. Your dad's unemployed. My daughter's voice, you unemployed. She said, "Mommy said they asked you for blah blah blah." I was like, "Man, your mother's essential work. She working." But I'm like, no, she said it. I said, "Y'all not seeing me over here locked in the house like everybody else? Goddamn mother's essential." You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody dropping me off no free hypodermic needles or nothing in this house. So during that time, all those things got affected. I remember talking to the one thing I'm happy for is not panicking. People, let this be a lesson going forward. Because how I say on stage all the time, jokingly, I say it's the end of the world and people fail. This was practice for the end of the world and you failed, which is my real, synopsis of people. Because if you don't know what to do with this, the next big thing, what are you going to do? And the next big thing, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Let this be a lesson. Whatever that flame got lit under your ass and what component and compartment of your body, mind, or heart, let that be a lesson that you don't have to wait until the end of the world to do said thing.
Yeah.
Start to situate yourself now, because I'm telling you, them barbershops and beauty salons and nail salons and all these places, places of worship, all these places we would, congregate and get out there in groups and masses that we couldn't, got shut down.
Yeah.
So now you have to plan for, okay, you know what happens when this type of thing happens again, or worse.
Well, I got a question. I just got this wild question. For us, we don't have bunkers. We don't have all that stuff. We don't have the I forgot what the hell they call the food, the military food, where everything is
or the rations.
Yeah, the rations, like you cut it out of a package. We don't even do that.
Right.
A lot of that stuff scared me when the pandemic hit. Like we got these ROIs. I think ROI. I think.
Are you talking about when they was going out there, had the pantries everywhere and feeding people?
Right, because me being from Harlem, right? I was in the mix, and they was throwing refrigerators out. Now, to me, that was crazy. I'm like, they got refrigerators on the corners of blocks. It was weird for me. And I'm sitting there, and I would go and I would open the refrigerator, and I'm looking inside. I'm like, but who would grab some food out of this right now?
It's the end of the world.
Right, but it was one of those things. And then my man just told me, he's like, yo, there's a whole new SARS virus popping right now.
Right.
But I'm not even in New York. I'm in Georgia. I'm in the A. So I'm like, yo, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. But SARS reminded me of something that I had to deal with many years ago.
Let me ask you a question. What was your fucking question?
I was like, what the
Yo,
fuck?
you fucked me up just now. He was like, yo, let me answer the question. And then you went way around the world, came back, and then just stopped like you was all good. And me and Amir sitting there like, the fuck's the question?
No, and I'm like, yo, SARS? Like,
let me tell you how
really?
you sound just now. You did like this. Yo, let me ask you a question. What's up? So I bought a Ferrari. That motherfucker bad. I got the Hutchinson, opened that bitch up, police came out, dusting them out. It's crazy, and it's good on gas. The fuck is the
Ferraris are not good on gas.
Well, look, if you asking this new SARS or whatever they're saying is is possible. Look, I'll tell you what. We started the show. You heard me talk about Harlem yesterday. 135th Street, like I said, the 8th Avenue side. When I say it was packed, it was packed. It was racks on racks on racks, and all of us on top of each other. Now, I didn't get into that crowd because I'm not sure if everybody in Harlem is taking care of themselves the way that they could and they should. But that is to me, you just have to be diligent in hopefully doing what you're supposed to do in your circumstance and for the people in and around you. And that's why I said, a little earlier in the show, please start doing your due diligence and learning about the things that are healthy to and for you so that you start, to Talent's point, the same way you're doing it with your finances or the same way you're doing it with your resources. You got to do it with your health. You got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research. And you got to start putting things in your body. I always say this. We all are looking for the most optimum outcome possible. In order for that to happen, you got to put the right things in. You do it with your car. You do it with your cell phone. You do it with your laptop. You do it with everything else. The body is the one thing that y'all don't think that you're supposed to put the most optimum stuff in so that you get the most optimum stuff out. This is the one true computer that is bigger and better than any computer that you could think of. So feed it the right things so that you're starting to get the right output. That's my answer to that.
I like that. Matter of fact, that's our closer right there.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, I hope we lit a candle, or turned your noodles a little bit to get you thinking about it, because there's a lot of different angles you can look at this pandemic in. It's not all just this one blink angle. There's a lot of, like Amir always says, there's a lot to unpack when I think about the pandemic, where we started, where we ended up, and where we still are. So we just got to be conscious of this stuff. I said, keep that third eye open and move forward with that positivity. That's what Motivation Monday is about. That's why we take up our time and do our going just to be here every Monday that we can to just remind people you are you. You can be the greatest version of yourself. You can be, people always talking about the goat in this and the goat in that. How about you be the goat of you? The greatest of all time to yourself. You can do it. Guaranteed. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget every Monday. Oh, before we go, anybody listening in the New York area, you might want to check us out tomorrow night. Doors open at Caroline's at 7 o'clock. The Box Seats, the sports show we do Monday through Friday at 1 to 2 with Humor Mill. All those funny guys on that show are going to be in the building, from Rodney Perry to Dave the Business Bully to Figman to Mike Shaw, yours truly Talent, and Frank Holder himself is coming, damn it. He'll be there from Humor Mill. Go to carolines.com, get your tickets, because there's going to be more if you try to walk in there and pay at the door. But it's box seats, 2-for-1 show. You get to talk to sports, and then we do a straight stand-up comedy show to close things out. So hope to see you at Caroline's tomorrow, this Tuesday, to see the box seats. I love y'all, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Peace, King Amir. Peace, Prophet P. God bless.
Yo, we out of here, y'all.